Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 23rd of July. Well, we continue the move. Once we got back above that ABM yellow, riding right back up to the peaks. We're doing so on a complete reset of the checkout indicator, which indicates that, well, a lot of people think that at this level we're in an overbought condition. That's not what we see. So just gives you an idea that there's the potential. And I marked this one here. I wanted to point it out. Well, we typically, when we're looking at the NBI white leading, which would give an indication for downturns, we usually look for that cross of the red, but you don't have a continuation, or at least I would say an ending of an upturn until you get that white crossing the magenta. And until that actually happens and stays there, you're still in what I would call brief sell-offs within a broader uptrend. So it's like a little bear rally within a broader uptrend. And you can see that play out, particularly intraday as well. And it's worth noting, I mean, both NASDAQ, S&P, when they hit those areas, buyers came in. We saw it from a short-term buyer aspect, particularly on the S&P, when the steel on the DOC here spiked. And that's led to the most recent turnaround. Part of the new language that I put in is that when we get these kinds of rejections, it will flip back to the green. We knew it anyway from ABM yellow moving back above it. That was a clear indication that we were back on the upside of it. Gold, still flat. Nothing's changed with it dynamically yet. If we get a pivot here, then we would start to see it. I think what it's interesting now, the new idea is that the more money you print, you're going to reduce inflation. This is a whole new economic model. And of course, Euro, you've been announcing that they're going to put another, $1 trillion in stimulus. So they're going to be competing with the U.S. That's going to continue to put pressure on the Euro lower. Still outside of its upside range. Bitcoin, of course, we saw that buy setup coming in through here. And again, this kind of points it out where you see the white move above, you get your brief drawdown, but if it pivots back above, you begin your next set of rallies. It's the easiest way to identify that. Split screen here of the update that I'm working with. A couple of changes you'll see here. This is one that the original PNT2 down here indicates the buy a little earlier, and that's simply a function of when you're in downturn moves in that sometimes you'll get these buy setups that take place below 23%. In this particular case, what it's looking for in the setup that I was looking at here is where the DOC green crosses above. From the day's range, though, was pretty consistent, except for we capture the beginning of the downside move just a little bit earlier, and then it moves back in between. Here it stays green throughout the up and down within that setup. And so those are some of the little variations. Anytime you're in this kind of a narrow range, you're going to see a lot of chop in between. But technically what was happening, let's just slide this chart up here so you can get a clearer idea of it. We had the spikes of white riding above and clear short indication until the pivot back up. That caused a brief upturn. White moved back above, caused the downturn. Magenta got back above it, caused the upturn. A little bit of break in between there before it started up again. And then when the white up here at the peak sparked, it was just a matter of waiting for that sell. And then once you get over that 33 range, you're still expecting a move to the 0%. It takes place. So just a question of your preference on the timeline. When you have that original signal, you expect that move to the 0%. And sure enough, it took place. And that led to then the magenta coming back over, and that was the buy. And that really hasn't changed till this brief spot right here in between. But within that, we still have Rise and Shakeout and Green still riding above on the DOC. And that's led to this current breaker. Now, that's all happening within positive extremes. So we'll move back down to 43.59. We'll fill that space. In fact, just the horizontal line right there, because that will be the marker when we get the breakdown. And of course, that'll be easy to see because we'll break down below the 33, and the red will be done, and we'll have the white cross above, and that will be that simple when it takes place. But for now, riding high, looking good. As always, though, I will continue to put up charts in the Skype chat. Trade well. We'll talk to you later.